December 18th to the Select Board meeting. We'll be starting executive session. If I could.
Of the select session, General Law 30A to constrain non-union personnel or conduct collective bargaining institutions with non-union personnel. And please, I'm sorry.
Second.
Marks.
Just one thing, just remind that you're going to executive session or reconvene session.
What he's
Okay. As Mark, second, I Matthew, roll call vote, Karen. Matthew.
Aye.
Chuck. In favor.
Aye.
And I am will our thank you.
looks good.
All right, we're out of executive session. Milton, we'd like to start things off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, a quick preview of the agenda coming up. We have we'll read mail. We have some select board discussion. We'll introduce our new town administrator. We'll vote to endorse a preservation restriction on Robinson Road. Vote to execute a deed for Robinson Road. PMBC discussion. Vote to authorize PMBC on the town administrator to execute a contract agreements for the renovations. We'll get into voting to adopt designer selection procedures in accordance with Mass General Law for that project, I'm assuming, there. We will also vote to authorize the town administrator to create contracts for those designer services for former Indian Hill. Mark, you had some things you want to put on here regarding the town, some of our board regulations and policies that we'll take care of. Department board updates, human resources, we have vote to approve a disclosure of a municipal employee having a financial interest in a municipal contract. We have at 7:30 public and member updates, and 8:30 we have, 8:30 we'll hope, and we'll approve minutes for December 4th, 2023, and then we should adjourn. All right. So the first item is our read mail. We have.
Okay, Mr. Chair, so if we can just go through this. So first item is a reminder of openings that are appointed by the Select Board. We have one opening on the Clean Lakes Committee, two openings on the Permanent Municipal Building Committee, one opening on the Sustainability Committee, three alternate citizen at-large members in the Transportation Advisory Council, and two alternate members open on the Zoning Board of Appeals. So if anyone watching at home has any interest in participating in this, please reach out to either the town clerk or the Select Board's office. As a reminder, we you can sign up for updates on various town activities on our town website. So please make sure to get on that if anyone's interested in receiving those updates. Wanted to make a special note. John Borowski, our veterans agent, received a notice from the Executive Office of Veterans Services for his contributions to the state and the town. So he had received this, and we wanted to just make the board aware of this recognition for his service. So thank you to John, and congratulations. So this is a continuation from our last meeting. Just wanted to give the board updates on different donations we have received that now the town administrator can take in. So this is $7,500 from the Gore Foundation for EHS Resident Assistance Fuel and Energy Fund, which I think so. The same topic here. $2,000 from the Henry Vincent Cooper Foundation to EHS Resident Assistance Fuel and Energy Gift Fund. $1,000 for the same fund from the Burroughs Foundation. $1,000 to the Tread Fund from Nancy Morrison. and then that's it. So again, money's coming in. We appreciate all those parties who have made those contributions. And again, with the board's permission, I'll continue to provide you with those updates.
No, thank you to all the individuals and businesses that are contributing. That's a huge help. I know it's many.
It would add a lot to your
Right.
agenda tonight if you had to actually do it, so this is great, so thank you for that. The next letter is, from National Grid. This is about their yearly vegetation and mitigation program. So this is just letting you know that they'll be treating their various rights-of-ways with their vegetarian management program. Continued on in the
Is it
right-of-way.
vegetarian management? Is that
Did I
correct?
say vegetarian management? No, well, it would be right-of-way vegetation management. A whole other thing along those lines, so no vegetation management, so thank you for that. Also, too, this is an update that we received regarding, this is, I believe this is for Energy Works for 33 Shattuck, which is, again, Town Hall, so just something we received in the mail, just passing it along. So that is all we have for the mail, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Well, I would like to welcome our new town administrator, Mr. James Duggan, to the town of Littleton. Over the last week, we came to terms on a contract for the next 3 years. So
We did.
we welcome you to Littleton. We look forward to great things. We truly appreciate you choosing Littleton and us choosing you. I think we're going to have a great 3 years of prosperity, hopefully during some pretty tough times. But we're excited. I know I'm excited. I think
Thank you.
the rest of the board as well.
Thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I'm very familiar with the community, and I'm very impressed by the community for a number of years on multiple levels. And I want to thank Ryan. Was fantastic today, and outstanding, introducing me to people, giving me a brief overview. Don't ask me what everyone's name is yet, or anything like that, but it was a great first day of introductions. Lisa is taking the necessary steps to coordinate meetings with all of you one-on-ones, but with different number of different other people, boards and commissions, chairs, and things of that nature, and moving forward with that. And looking forward to working with you. You got an amazing team here. I'm very, very impressed. Very impressed. But thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. And I would also like to thank Ryan for how many months were you?
About 9.
So
Still interim.
your 9 months of being one person to top there in the office, which is built for two, for sure, and you've done an admirable job. So we truly appreciate it. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right.
Sworn in.
Excuse me.
Sworn in. Sorry.
Yes. Did you get sworn in?
Yeah, he's
already?
been sworn in. Yes,
I did.
exactly, yes.
Thank you.
Yep. Town
Yeah,
clerk,
as
yes.
I could have just looked at Diane and asked that
Yep.
question. All right. Moving on to our next order of business, we have vote to endorse preservation restriction for 12 Robinson Road.
So, Mr. Chair, these two pieces come together, so we are finally getting to the end of the road for 12 Robinson Road, thankfully. So these are really two items, but I'd probably like to talk about them at the same time. So the first piece is a preservation restriction. This is a requirement of the Historical Commission that they required basically for the sale of 12 Robinson. Item C is to execute a deed for 12 Robinson Road to sale to Mr. Cataldo, who's here in the audience, and we will, once the sale is executed, the proceeds from that sale would then be essentially refunded back into the Community Preservation Fund Historical Commission bucket. So those monies will coming back to the town, but specific to the CPC. So, Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, maybe Mr. Cataldo, I don't know if you'd like to address the board.
Good evening, members. Thank you for allowing me some time. Mr. Duggan, welcome to Littleton.
Thank you, sir.
I worked with Mr. Duggan and Drake. Great experience. We have got a lot done in the last few months. We've met with the Historical Commission, and we've met with the preservationist. She came out to the site, and we had a very good meeting and came to an agreement of what we are going to do as far as rehabilitation, restoration, and some dialogue with, at the state level. We were getting a little bit bogged down with the timeliness of getting this done, but fortunately, in the last couple of weeks, that's come together. We're planning on closing on the property on January 8th. We have a loan commitment from Northern Bank, and we're anxious to get going.
This is all good news.
Yes, hope so.
Yeah.
As I said, I want to keep the squirrels outside instead of inside the house, so hopefully we can get there. But no, we're really excited, and it's only been 20 months.
Yeah.
So
Mr. Catala's been very patient through this process, so.
Not really. I hit it well. Not really. But we're looking forward to getting going on it, so.
Great.
Any questions from anyone?
Is the, I know that there was a lot of talk about like inspecting the property as you're doing construction on it. Is that spelled out in
Yeah,
this
so what we've
restriction?
done, so we contributed, the town's entered into a contract, Matt, with the preservation company, who's a woman, Shanti, I can't pronounce her last name, but, so we also contributed to that fund. And we did agree with the Historical Commission that right now, I believe there's $10,000 allocated for her work. And if we run past that, I did agree that we would contribute some more money to that. But we had a very good conversation. We will have a project manager that did restoration work for the town of Concord who works for us now, and he'll be spearheading this project. So we did have a Zoom call last week with Linda Stein, Shanti, Ryan Orr is our project manager, and myself, and we're anxious to get going.
Great.
Great.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Sorry. Do you still have to go back in front of the planning board for your final say,
No.
or you're good?
No, we have the planning board decision.
Okay. So the residents reached out and asked you keep construction vehicles off Robinson Road. Is that part of the planning board decision?
To keep
Or you're not parking them on the road while you're working? That you're keeping them on site?
In the beginning, it's going to be tough, Mark, to park them on the site because we've got a lot of tree work that we have to do. We'll park them on the shoulder of the road until we can develop the parking lot in the back, but we'll be cognizant of my neighbors.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any
I
other-
would note with all of this that the town clerk is here, so that as you sign both documents, then should be doing her notary public work on this as well, so that we can move this along. So that will require your signature, and we may need to take a little bit of a pause in the meeting to allow you and the town clerk to complete that work.
All right, let's look for a motion for the preservation restriction of 12 Robinson Road.
Move the select board vote to endorse a preservation restriction for 12 Robinson Road.
Second?
Moved by Mark, seconded by Matthew. All those in favor? Aye. It's unanimous. All right, now to execute the deed.
Move the select board vote to execute the deed for 12 Robinson Road.
Second?
Moved by Mark, seconded by Matthew. All those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. We'll get this signed.
Mr. Chairman, if I just
Sure.
may, just for 1 second, just to, working with Mr. Cataldo and Drake, it was a great experience. He does a great job, man of his word, and in fact, he's actually exceeded his word in many respects, and Littleton will be very happy with that.
Thank you.
I don't have any choice here, Jim, seeing how I live down the street from this house. He's very passionate about this project. Mr. Chairman, am I supposed to stay and sign the document as well?
Take a look, Joe.
Doesn't have.
This
What-
is just Diane.
Take a look.
The deed?
There is,
If we're recording a deed, you'd have to sign that, I believe, right?
yeah,
Probably the closing, but
yeah.
I thought I had to sign the preservation agreement.
Let's see, I don't see,
That's
I don't see that, but I'll tell you, Joe, let's take a look at it after they go through everything, and then make sure there isn't anything. I don't want to keep you too long, you've been patient enough already. But,
Only 20 months.
only 20 months. Here you go.
Just sign it twice, right?
No, just once.
Just the top, that's the notary.
Okay.
That's the notary. Mr. Chair, just, where this is Mr. Duggan's first meeting, I think maybe we could take a picture and.
Yeah, I think so.
welcome him a little bit.
After we're done with this business, that's a good point. We typically, when we have new employees
Great.
start, we get up front, we'll have Diane, I think Michelle's gone, right? Maybe Diane can take a picture for us, we'll get that posted.
It'll cost you.
Thank you. Thank you.
She's very affordable rates.
The storm on my brain is today. Got me clogged up. Great, thank you.
All right, so let's take a look if there's anything for...
Dang it, there's nowhere on there for Joe to sign.
So, didn't see anything. There was something.
It was a document that had my
Yeah,
name on
it did, which was back here. So,
Yeah.
and that's, and
What's
this is
this right
for,
here?
that's with the Historical Commission.
Yeah,
So,
don't I have to sign right here?
you could sign that. That's it. This came in just today.
But here's my name right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, no, you can sign it, Joe. That much, absolutely. You'd like to do that.
Need a pen?
We're done. That's good enough.
No.
Thank you. George Ryan.
Oh, yep, sorry.
And then I think you can do the rest of this.
I'm all set.
You are with us?
Yes.
Yeah. Did
You
you
know
have?
what I
Thanks.
Thanks for selling me the property.
Thanks for sticking with it.
Looking forward to seeing it.
We like it.
Me too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Jim, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Take
Good
care.
to see you.
Be well.
You too.
Maureen, thank you for all your help.
Okay, thank you.
Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you.
All that good stuff.
Let's all
You
step
as
up
well.
front, Joe. Step up front and get a picture with our. Thank you.
See, this is better.
Thank you. This picture in there, yeah.
Johnny on the spot. Where are we looking?
We covered
The
it.
in-laws.
First, we'll look here. Ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese, good.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Mark also got a picture, Mark also got a picture of the swearing in as well, so we have that as well.
Right, next order of business, we have Permanent Municipal Building Committee, vote to authorize the PMBC to work with the town administrator to execute contract agreements for the renovations of that project, so.
Sure. Okay, Mr. Chair, if I may, so these next few pieces are also item D, E, and F are somewhat related. So just to remind the board where we are with 36 King Street. I think we've had some conversations about this, but what we're looking to do, our goal is to have basically construction bid docs that are put together, and then have bids in hand for our May 7th annual town meeting, so that we'll have actual costs to renovate the Indian Hill Music School in front of town meeting and request approval as such. So we are scheduled to have bids back for our OPM and designer services contract. Those are two separate contracts coming back on this Thursday, December 28th. And once those are back, you'll remember hopefully that on November 1st, we set aside $400,000 for that work. So, and that's on both the OPM and the designer services. So
Combined.
Combined, correct, yeah. So the hope is that we open up the bids on the 28th. We move forward and award it that following day. So what I am proposing to do is two things. The first is to formally request that the Permanent Municipal Building Committee work with me. I have two members of the PMBC lined up to come to the office on the afternoon of the 28th so that we can review the bids that come in for the OPM and designer services, and then make a determination who we want to select as our vendors, and then again proceed forward. This is time is of the essence to do this because we need to move really fast to be able to get the construction docs together. So part of this request is as it relates on item F, which is to basically authorize me to spend up to, in this case, $350,000 on the designer services. I wouldn't have to ask for that on the OPM because we anticipate that'll be less than $50,000. So I've already been discussing this with the PMBC. The other component for which we also want to bring the PMBC in at this point is for them. I know when we talked about this back in May at before the annual town meeting about wanting to have another set of eyes look at the current outline of what our goals are for this project and to see what suggestions they have to provide a value added for the project. So again, our goals for this are fairly modest.
But it's right up their alley. This is definitely
right. And I think that it's important that town meeting hears from the PMBC, ideally at the annual town meeting, so they'll know that, okay, the bids are now in, the scope of work, which they will help define and refine as we go through that process, that we'll have that other set of eyes on it to help us work through this process. So already talked to the chair of the PMBC. He's eager to take on this task. And just to remind everybody, our goals for this on its face are fairly modest. We would be looking to replace basically tighten up the exterior, replacing clapboards, painting the exterior, looking to replace the roof, which is at the end of its useful life, potentially replacing some systems for HVAC when we turn the heat on. This year, I think there was 9 units. Of those 9 units, I believe 6 actually turned on, so some others hadn't, but we're keeping the building warm enough to be able to keep our fire suppression system running.
And pipes from freezing.
That we don't want that. And then that as well as getting the allocation of office space for both the school administration on the second floor, as well as the lineup for what we want to see from the Parks and Recreation Commission folks on the first floor and the second floor. So it's on its face, it's fairly modest, but to be able to get this up to current standards and in line with our existing systems is going to take some time and money. So so this is the plan. We want to make that explicit to you. And again, the hope is if the board can give me sort of your approval in advance, then that'll allow me on the 28th just to hit the ground running on the 29th and get these contracts moving. So
should this language change to the town administrator or his appointee?
yeah, that's fine. We can do that. Right.
Jim,
I think when I put this together,
if you're going to
yeah, that's fine. And then the other, and then just so we're continuing to kind of talk about this as a group, if you don't mind, the other piece that under E, which was to adopt designer selection procedures. So this is something to be able to review the OPM and designer contracts. The town needs to adopt standard designer selection procedures. So we think we may have done this at some point, but there have been subsequent updates to what those standards should look like. So we thought the safest thing would be just to come back to you and to ask that you formally adopt this, and this would be the same for all of our design reviews, and basically just a template for which we can evaluate those contracts. So anyway, that's basically items D, E, and F.
Did I have an E and F? Do one, is my,
Maybe looking at an old one.
I think I have this though.
So D is the Permanent Municipal Building Committee authorization.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Look for the motion. If there, any discussion?
No discussion.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
On D, we'll start with there.
Yep.
Typically on these projects that the PMBC takes on behalf of another board, there's another board member, a member of the other boards on there as an ex officio who can vote only on this project. There's already someone for the schools on there, but there's no one from Park and Rec. Is Park and Rec going to have appoint someone to be their effective voice?
We can.
Have we asked, or we, okay.
Yeah, I haven't asked, but we can make that.
Or the
Commissioner?
select board as I mean, it's care, custody, and control thing, you know, where the others are gonna be using, it's probably better for them to have somebody representative, but there
Yeah.
should be some representation.
Maybe we do one from each, then, if that's.
Well, there's already one on the school
So,
committee.
Right, so
That
school
makes up
committee,
the
select
PMBC,
board,
right?
and
Yeah, that's fine.
PMBC, that's fine.
see.
All right, okay. Is anybody from the select board?
I'll
wanna
do
volunteer for that?
I'll do it. I mean, unless someone else wants it. So
Okay, all right.
Anyway,
Matthew's shaking his head like he wants it.
I'm shaking my head like I don't want
if
it.
you're not able to do it, I can jump
Okay.
in. It's an ex officio, so.
Okay,
Or, I mean, well, do you already attend the PMBC meetings?
I do, but
Do you
I
wanna
don't
do
have
it?
the bandwidth. Thank you.
Okay,
okay.
okay.
All right, let's look for a motion.
Okay. Move the select board vote in accordance with town's general bylaws to authorize the permanent municipality building committee to work with the town administrator or his designee to execute contract agreements for the renovation of 36 King Street, formerly Indian Hill Music Center.
Second.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Matthew. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, now on the designer services, I do have a question on this one. Does this apply to things like the school building project then? That this is going to affect how the architect is effectively handled, or is this outside of the, because it is general.
I think we've already accepted something at one point, didn't we?
Well, so the designer, that's the next phase, now that we've hired the OPM, right? So I think that the question, unless there's something that the MSBA would supersede this, which I would doubt because it is Mass General Law, this would otherwise be our standard.
Okay, so one other question I have is this is somewhere between a policy and a procedure, and we typically don't take them in one meeting. So do we want to introduce it and then approve it? Because it doesn't require, you don't need this for F, we can still do
I
F.
actually do.
You do?
So, yeah, and it is also Mass General Law, so I think it was,
So how
bringing
we-
it forward was almost more pro forma than anything else, and these were the guidelines that they suggested, so it's really, it's fairly straightforward and boilerplate.
I mean, is the board comfortable with this language to vote on this tonight?
Given that it's standard and Mass General Law, I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah, and any designer's gonna have to operate under these standards anyway, and the PMBC will operate under this, and
I'm-
frankly, our
I'm not
facilities
sure that-
manager, as they come on board, is gonna.
I'm not sure that my review of it would have any
Yeah,
realistic
fair.
input on this.
No, I mean, can you go back to the approving body and approving authority and the things, they just,
Yep.
it didn't seem like there were enough definitions or enough different, it seemed like there was too much of an overlap on some of those.
That's 11, number 11, I think.
11, okay.
You can keep that now. I got it. Thank you.
Am I wrong? 13 maybe? Yeah, 11, 12, 13, all approving body and the authority.
So, yeah, the approving body is the select board or the PMBC, right?
Right.
But then it doesn't really go into, well, there's the awarding authority, but that's never, That's number 2. It says for the awarding authority, but it never really defines what that is there. And then it talks about approving authority, and I don't know that that's been defined. So I'm just,
So I think it would be this, in the absence of anyone else, it would be the select board, unless, you were specifically,
so there's an approving body, and then there's an awarding authority, and then there's an approving authority, and they're just all not well-defined in this to go through and separate them.
if it would make you feel more comfortable, Mark, we could say the approving body and the approving authority could just be the select board, right? That's-
Well, the approving body says it's the select board or PMBC, right? But it never says who the awarding authority is. And then we talk later about an approving authority, and I don't know if the approving authority is supposed to be the awarding authority or the approving body, because we like mixed terms.
This is one of those that I definitely would pass this to PMBC as a lot of this authority, I would say, as far as awarding.
And they're appointed by the select board. but there's nothing-
I'm just, there's just terms that aren't defined and
So do we
clear,
put-
and then we mix them up, so.
Typically in these, is there something at the bottom that says, for the case, for the reasoning of this, purposes of this document, awarding authority is X, and the approving authority is X? I mean,
I think identify that in like the whereas.
the awarding authority shall evaluate designers, okay? Awarding.
The Littleton Select Board is the awarding authority for this project. So it's defined
Okay.
in the contract, not in the not in the
Yeah.
policy.
Thank you, man.
Okay.
Do you want to add a
That's
20
the awarding authority?
The awarding authority, so if you
But who's
go,
the approving authority?
that is defined as either the Select Board or the PMBC.
That's
in
the approving
in the
body.
policy. The approving body?
Yeah. That's at number 2, says the select board or PMBC is the approving body. I didn't find where it ever defined who the approving authority was, but I might have missed it.
I hereby proclaim as the select board.
I mean, it says the approving body has the authority to conduct the designer selection process. Although I agree with you I mean, maybe we should say approving body / approving authority. I would be fine with that change because you're right, it doesn't.
And we can even put select board or
Under 2?
designate.
I just want to define approving authority.
We could, and then we could add that in under 2, and so that the approving authority would be the select board. Would that be, could we do that instead of the name? Okay.
Well, probably I'd have to reread the document to make sure that that makes sense with the rest of it, but yeah. That's why I wasn't sure on some of these.
When is this going to have to come back to the select board for any type of vote?
Well, so Gary, what we're trying to do under item F is to give me the okay to approve the contract, even though we don't have anything in. I'm just trying to keep everything on schedule, because, again, it's going to be a quick turnaround to be able to do this. So that's but I think if we take just a friendly amendment of item, we'll put under item 2 an additional definition that the approving authority is the select board. I think that should cover most everything here, so.
We can even put that in the motion, right?
I'm fine with putting this in, I'm fine with leaving it alone and then revisiting it as a real policy before we do any other projects, because there's clear need for what we're doing now,
Tighten it up.
but we should probably tighten it up and separate it, because some of this is procedural and some of this is policy related, and it'd be nice to split those out
Yeah,
again.
I agree with
So-
that.
I agree with that as well. I think we're probably okay on this one.
Okay.
But, okay, move the select board vote in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 7C, Sections 44 to 58, to adopt designer selection procedures to guide and govern the selection of designers for procurements that are subject to the state designer selection law.
Second.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Matthew. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Move the select board vote to authorize the Assistant Town Administrator Ryan Farrar to execute contracts to provide designer services and owner project manager OPM services for the renovation of 36 King Street formerly Indian Hill, the contract for designer services should not exceed $350,000.
And the reason for that is that we believe that the 50,000 for the OPM should be less than 50,000. Maybe what we could do is amend that to 400,000, not to exceed 400,000, because you do mention both here, so point taken, Mark, I think that would be.
Let's hold the motion.
Yeah, can we also amend that to say town administrator or assistant town administrator rather than?
Sure.
Designating?
So you want me to do this one again?
No, just as amended.
Just to, yeah.
Okay.
We have a
Or
motion.
you know, the other way to do it is to be consistent, we could say town administrator or his
Designate.
designate. How about that?
Okay, I'll do it again then.
Thank you. So let's,
Are we good with it then? With those those changes to the motion?
with the amended changes to replace interim assistant town administrator Ryan Fryer with,
Town administrator
Town
or his
administrator
designee
or his
and not to
designee.
exceed 400,000.
Yeah, that's good.
so as amended. That's the motion. Seconded by Chuck. Moved by Mark, seconded by Chuck. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Next piece up, this is, talked about, Mark had reached out to talk about some of the duplicate policies. This is one of the select board goals is to work on refining our 280-page regulations and policies. And so Mark sort of taken a first draft at some policies that are cited in other places within the town, and including, like, say, the employee handbook. And so I'll turn it over to Mark.
Yeah, so this was a first quick, semi-quick pass at the policies that are in both places. It's not to say that the policy shouldn't end up being something that we vote on, right? But it's something that should be out of our big document, at least for review now. For some of these, I have been in touch with Michelle, like whether, like, I'll just pick on one, like the domestic violence policy should be a select board policy or if it's just an HR policy, right? So which ones fall under the town administrator office's jurisdiction versus us is still being decided. But for the moment, these are policies that should be removed from our handbook, basically, because they're in other handbooks.
Unless we decide that they should only be in our policies.
Yes, so in that case, we'll remove them from the other going forward. But
Okay.
Remove redundancies.
yeah, some of these are actually in 3 places, because some of them are in the handbook and a policy. Some of them are out of date, like we have a financial management policy that was approved in 2017, and the new one on the town on the finance department is 2018. So for the moment, I would like to remove these from our policies or at least our big handbook. And then I will work through with HR. Well, the financial one I think stays out, right? Because it's already going to be a financial policy in general that is still our policy. It's just not part of our document. The street opening one, I'll work with Highway on that, and the other ones I'll work with Michelle on as to whether to bring them back as something we review or leave her to review
Okay.
going forward.
So with the HR policies and some of these other policies, is the select board still the authority for?
Even taking them out for the moment, yes, but going forward, the answer might be no. So we have to decide whether we want to be the one that's regulating the email policy or if it's an HR policy, for example. And I'm not arguing for or against it right now, I'm just arguing for, let's get rid of the duplication right now.
Yeah.
So if you feel strongly that these should be, reach out, still select board policies.
No, as long as it's written into the policy, if it is under the purview of the select board to, if we're going, for instance, for at the end of the day, disciplining or removing an employee for violating one of these, then we should be somehow written into their policy that the select board would be the official, the official authority.
Yeah.
So the IT finds the issue, IT, for the email policy, someone that violates it, IT obviously is going to bring it to who? To the town administrator. Now, the town administrator has the authority to remove any of these employees that violate this. So I'm just trying to make sure that if it's written into their policies, that the proper authority to remove or to discipline or whatever the case may be, some of these aren't all based on that. The hiring process is
Yeah.
written into the policy, that's all.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm just trying to get the ones that are duplicates
Yeah,
flagged as
absolutely. No,
duplicates, so.
I fully agree.
So,
Can I follow up on that? That was just something I'm trying to understand, the genuine curiosity. There are a lot of duplicates in it. Is the intention over time, does anybody remember or know why we would then be taking elements of the employee handbook? Or maybe they were taking pieces out of the select board policy and putting in the employee handbook. So I'm not sure why there's such duplication.
I think because of the personnel, it created a vacuum when the personnel board was dissolved, if you will. I think a lot of personnel board worked very hard on the things that they were responsible for and putting it into the handbook. But a lot of this other stuff was never updated at the same time. So I think we're dealing with some of the duplicates.
I can't tell where they.
But that's the only thing I can.
Yeah, I just understand the why of how.
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know the why, and these still could be policies of both departments, but let's not actually have two separate documents. Let's have
Agreed.
one, right? So
Okay.
that's where I'm trying to head so that the policies are individual policies with a nice, link of table of contents
Yeah,
type
no, great.
things. And it could be that the HR policies are, a chapter that we link to their whatever, right? But it's just 270 some pages is overwhelming to review. So this at least eliminates reviewing some of them on our own, or, going through, we can review whether they should be ours or not. There are more that are duplicates, I believe.
Okay.
A handful of them. This is the first pass of things that I'd like to remove from our handbook.
Are they actually duplicated word for word, or are they slightly different?
There was one that was slightly different, everything else was just reformatted. I believe it was I think it was the domestic violence or drug. One of the HR policies was slightly reworded, but it was not minor, it was minor rewording, except for the financial one, which was different because it literally says the date it was approved and the other one says a newer date, so.
There was one too, Margaret, I think maybe if I could ask for this, that we just have you then follow up again with all the departments, say, hey, this is the initial list we have, we may add some other pieces
Yep.
onto it, and then come back to it, because I know that there was a vehicle use, there was, say, I don't know if that's specific.
Vehicle use is on there, yeah.
Yeah, so there was some differences between the two policies that I know Michelle was talking about earlier
Yeah.
with me. So I think if we can follow up before we take any vote,
Okay.
would be appreciated.
Yeah,
Okay.
Do we have a motion for this?
It
or
was
not?
discussion dependent.
Yeah, I think this is.
You need,
No, this is just something that will be coming forward as.
oh, great.
Remember, yeah.
So I will follow up with the departments, and then we can vote based on then whether to basically rescind them as select board policies or not. But they'll be, either way, they'll basically be pulled from our handbook, as everything else will be pulled from the handbook. So,
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, good work.
Did you call Darryl?
All right, we're on to department board updates.
Okay. So this is a request from Human Resources. It's a vote to approve of a disclosure by a municipal employee having a financial interest in a municipal contract. So this is for an employee who is both a employee of the Littleton Public Schools and the Littleton Fire Department. This is Mr. Joe Rock, and I think he is the girls soccer coach, and also works for varsity girls soccer, and also works for the fire department. So I think you've done this recently, so this is just a request for the board to sign off on that exemption.
Great.
Good. Thank you, Joe Rock.
move the select board vote to acknowledge a disclosure by a municipal employee of financial interest in a municipal contract and approve the exception of Mr. Joe Rock as a municipal employee in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 268A, Section 20F.
Second?
Moved by Mark, seconded by Matthew. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go into some member updates. I'll start on this side. Mark, if you have member update.
Is that part of your update?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think most of us participated in the recent, very successful Toys for Tots drive. Thank you everyone who generously donated. I think it was a banner year. I also wanted to thank the school department, fire department, police department, and everyone else who helped with the event on December 7th to bring in the, and Major Cavallo, who brought in the 2 helicopters to the high school. It was an awesome event. It was, I think every kid I talked to there was like just so amazed and blown away by the whole thing. So thank you to the Cavallos, the Army for bringing it in, and everyone that made it happen. On a board business front, I attended the Open Space Planning and Implementation Committee meeting last Monday. They are hopefully in the final throes of putting together their open space plan. It will be coming to us in somewhere in early-ish January timeframe for us to write a letter of endorsement with the goal of submitting the plan somewhere towards the end of January to whatever the appropriate authorities are. They have to get endorsements from several boards, we're one of them. So it will be coming to us sometime in January if the current plan holds. So.
Yeah, echo Mark's appreciation and thanks for Major Cavallo and all that made the, that really, it was just overwhelming, the event. It was great to see the amount of students and staff that were able to get out there, and it was an awesome event. Attended the police department, had a coffee with a cop last week, attended that, and a number of our seniors were there, which was great. And they did it in conjunction with Middlesex County Sheriff's Department. And also wanted to just throw a thank you out there to all the residents and small businesses that have been putting up with our roadways being ripped apart. And I speak with Joe at Common Convenience quite a bit, and he's really been getting nailed by the construction company being right in front of his business, but he's been a good sport and keeps saying, I'm a team player, I'm in for the long haul. So appreciate everybody kind of getting behind the project and being patient.
The weather is probably a good break for all the construction.
It was pleasant to go to Toys for Tots and not have it raining sideways for once. But speaking of raining sideways, I had a very impressive tree come down across my road, but I would like to point out that the lights never even flickered at my house, at least, so thank you, little electric light. The other thing, a week ago Sunday, the ad hoc working group for the Orchard, as well as Littleton Conservation Trust, jointly hosted a presentation for the Orchard on our progress and a walk. We had almost 50 people attend the presentation here in this room, and then we had roughly 40 of them went on the tour of the Orchard. So a ton of interest in the community. I'm going to let Karen talk about the RFI, which is, I think we have a meeting on Wednesday to approve it, I believe, and we're moving forward on that.
We'll see whether we're at the approval stage on Wednesday. But the RFI continues to move forward. Thanks to Town Council for their input. I'm working through those comments. I wanted to thank everyone who worked on that Orchard presentation. It went really well. I think attendance, I'd say we had at least 30 people?
I counted there were 48 people in this room.
There you go, 48 people just at the presentation. And then for the walk, there were, I think, based on reports, just as many folks there, even despite the mucky weather. So it looks like, let's see, I was going to talk about to see if no, it's not. Okay, never mind. I'm going to move on and thank Michelle Vibert for all her help these past few weeks to bring Jim on board. It's been a lot of extra time and extra hours, and it's much appreciated. And again, echoing everybody else with thank you for Toys for Tots. And that was a impressive display of community support. So that's about all I've got.
All right, thank you. You really hit on just about everything, from Toys for Tots to helicopters, park and recreation, their collection that they do for.
Oh, absolutely.
The holiday helpers.
The holiday helpers is just I saw a picture, I don't know who.
Video.
Yeah.
Our video, yeah.
49,
I think you shared it. Maybe.
49 children this year, I think she
Yeah,
said.
it's about that, yeah.
Yeah, just an amazing program that the Park and Rec puts on, and it's truly helpful for the community, for those in need. So, thank you for continuing to do that. I don't know how many years they've been doing it, but it's been several now. Coffee with a Cop. I think the Middlesex Sheriff's Department and the Littleton Police, it was a great presentation, and want to expand on a little bit about exploiting not just our seniors, but all the spear phishing that we have on our emails, to phone calls, scam calls, to everything. Really, it was enlightening. It's good for everyone to kind of sit through that maybe once a year as new scams come out, and I think there's some really horrific stories of people that really get turned upside down their lives when they lose hundreds of thousands of dollars in some type of a scam or a credit card scheme or online or now with your phone. So a great presentation. I truly think that's something this time of year is more important than ever, right before the holidays. Thank LCTV, really. All these events we're talking about, they were there and doing some great coverage. And, if you didn't get to see it, you can see it on, on our cable access television, some of the events and how great they were attended, and some of the great things that a lot of the staff is doing. I did want to make a plug for this Wednesday. You're having a holiday party, correct?
Yep, have my updates, yeah.
Yep. Oh, you have it in your updates? Okay, I won't steal any of your thunder. That's really all I have, just wishing the staff and all the residents of Littleton a very happy holidays as we get to the new year in the next couple of weeks. It's hard to believe. All right.
Can I throw one more in there?
Yeah.
Just, LMS had the Legally Blonde this past weekend.
That's right.
And
So much
all
going on.
accounts, from all accounts, it was an excellent show, and just hats off to all that make that happen and all that attended, and certainly the kids and the performances.
Okay. But just the update on my end, I'd also like to echo your sentiment and welcome Jim. It's nice to have you here, Jim. I'm looking forward to working with you. We were able to go through Town Hall and introduce Jim, and I'm sure he's going to be making some other appointments both with board members and with department heads over the next few weeks, trying to get out there and see some of our sites, have a better understanding about strengths and weaknesses for our sites, and to be able to get a better sense of that. I'd like to mention to the board and call out that our primary maintenance person in town, George Dumas's wife passed away at the services this past Sunday at the funeral home across the street, and it's a sad situation, and everybody in Town Hall loves George, and this is a tough thing for him. But I was able to make the wake, and amazingly, George is ready to come back to work tomorrow. So I wanted to give him as much time as he wants, but at the same time, I think he wants to keep busy. So I want to just say I hope everybody here and watching on TV who knows George can keep him in your thoughts and prayers. It's a difficult time for him and his family. Gary, as you mentioned, moving on to the next subject, we are having a luncheon in Town Hall on Wednesday that's going to be open for all town departments, and we're going to be hosting them, getting that catered, so looking forward to that. And that night, we're doing our Town Hall office party at 4:30 p.m. at Dirigible Brewing. So a couple holiday events that we're doing with staff, which we're all looking forward to. As I mentioned to you before, I just have to reiterate, we're looking at a bid opening on December 28th at 2 PM for the OPM, for the owner's project manager, and 3 PM for the designer services. So that's coming up and will help us keep that project moving along. So my thanks to the board for your support for this. And we are reaching the final stages of the budget review process in, at least for the town administrators side of things. And we hope to be able to get the budget document together in the first week in January and get that out to the Select Board and Finance Committee. So that's coming along too. So that's all I have for my update.
Facilities manager?
Facilities manager, we're making progress on that too. We're close, but we're making progress. Nothing guaranteed just yet. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
All right,
Mr. Chairman, if I can just update the board, I had a robust meeting with Mr. Lapoli last Thursday at his office, and he showed me the history of the Lapoli companies and the success over the years. Also showed me the various projects that he's done over the Merrimack Valley and some of the inside baseball hurdles that he overcame for those to come to fruition. And he is extremely proud of what is moving forward here in Littleton, and he is very excited. And this is probably going to be the jewel of his project. So he's thrilled. He's thrilled, and looking forward to breaking ground in the spring.
Great, thank you. All right, I think we can open it up to public input, please.
It's a minute and a half. Hi, Jenna Brownson. I live at 142 Harvard Road. Welcome to you. You'll see me often. I'm a pain in the ass. Today's post is titled, "You, the Overseers of the Poor." As you all know, the Select Board used to be called the Board of Selectmen. What you might not know is that Littleton's Board of Selectmen once was known by a far longer title, the Board of Selectmen and the Overseers of the Poor. In Littleton's 2nd century, this publicly elected board provided Littleton's poorest citizens with housing at 547 Great Road, work at the Poor Farm, and some pocket money. Back in the olden days, by conduct and by policy, Littleton took care of its poor. Today, the Select Board is no longer bound by title or duty to do anything at all to help the 6.3% of Littletonians who live below the poverty line. But this does not mean you can't or that you shouldn't help. A week from today, Littletonians who experience year-round grinding poverty will get a brief respite thanks to the seasonal generosity of their neighbors. Food drives and toy donations will make 7 days from today a little less bad. And while any community's generosity is appreciated, there are still 364 other days in the year. Littleton has the chance to do something profound and meaningful with the obscene profits that can come from one license to sell cannabis. We have a rare and precious opportunity to do meaningful good for people in need right here in Littleton. That license came into existence after a public vote. That license is under control of this public board. That license ought to do some public good. It is my great hope that as public officials, you agree and that you will go on record with your pledge to award Saga Cannabis that license because you, like me, want to do something good with your public service. Do I have your support?
I'm not going to comment on your business. I don't know anything about your business. I haven't seen a presentation, so I don't. It's just we typically don't comment on things like that. Asking us for a vote and support. If you could present it when we possibly go back out for a license, that's about it. You're not going to get any comments from the rest of the board on this.
Because that's the rule. We're going to stick to the rules now.
No.
We're going to start sticking to the rules now with respect to cannabis.
I'm not going
Gary.
to get into debate on prospective cannabis.
You all could do so much good.
Thank you. I agree.
Have a good holiday.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Chair,
Good evening.
Select Board members, and welcome to Town Administrator Duggan. I'm Anna Houston, 55 Jennifer Street, and I'm here this evening as the Chair of the Affordable Housing Trust. To follow up on an email request from late November, because the Affordable Housing Trust is supposed to have an audit. So per Littleton's Article 7, Section 817, the Board of Trustees shall provide for an annual audit of the books and records of the trust. The audit shall be performed by an independent auditor in accordance with accepted accounting practices. Upon receipt of the audit by the Board of Trustees, a copy shall be provided to the Select Board. So I'm raising this request tonight because I want to make sure that the Affordable Housing Trust gets on the docket to have its audit done at the same time as when the town has its audit done. And I recognize, you guys haven't had too much on your plate lately, but So I totally understand that you've had so much on your plates, but I don't want this to get lost with all the other balls in the air. Second, related to the Affordable Housing Trust, in last week, we are about 95% done with our 5-year action plan. It's something that we have said that we would be looking to complete, and so as soon as it is done in the January meeting, that's our expectation, then we will be forwarding that to the Select Board, CPC, FinCom, and any other relevant board or committee in the coming year, and perhaps it would be appropriate then to get on your calendar sometime in February to review it, as there have been questions about what the board is planning to do, what it plans to do with its dollars, and I would like the opportunity for our members to explain that.
Awesome.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
And I would also like to mention that as the Affordable Housing Trust member, I am the appointee to the town administrator. And second aside, I'm glad that you're looking forward to breaking ground over at King Street Common. In addition to being on the Affordable Housing Trust, I am also a member of the Planning Board.
Outstanding, thank you.
So have a good evening,
Thank you.
everyone, and happy holidays
That's
if
all
I don't
holidays.
see you.
Happy holidays.
Same to you.
How's that cancer treatment going? Cancer cure.
All right. There's no other public comment. We'll move on to our next agenda item, which is licensing. Dirigible Brewing Company LLC, request for extended hours on December 31st.
Okay. So, members of the board, this is a request from Dirigible. They had asked whether or not to be here tonight, but we told them they didn't need to. This is a repeat of what they had done last year. So basically, they're looking to temporarily extend their hours for a private New Year's Eve party. They wanted to extend pouring on Sunday, December 31st from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. on January 1st. The event's going to be ticketed with a maximum number of attendees of 80 people. And they were looking to have last call be announced at 12:30 a.m. And again, I believe that you did something similar for Dirigible last year, so this should be familiar to most of the board members.
Any commentary on this? I know.
Police and fire signed off.
Yeah, we got-
Police and
we got
fire
a
have
police
signed
and
off
fire.
on it, yes.
Thank you.
That's in the packet, yep.
Okay.
Move the select board vote to approve the request from Chris Loring, CEO, Dirigible Brewing Company, for extended hours of operation from December 31st, 2023, New Year's Eve, to 1 a.m. on January 1st, 2024.
Second.
Moved by Mark, second by Matthew. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Just as a point, so they're committing to last call at 12:30.
Last call at
That's
12:30,
part
right,
of the
right,
licensing.
so it allows,
Yeah.
right, exactly, yeah.
not
But
a
I
motion,
think
but
closing,
it's in there.
yeah, that's fine.
All right, we're into licensing. Here we go.
Okay, so there's a lot of licenses here. I think I'll try to take this as a group, B through G. So just to, we want to try to do this where we basically are referring to the table that's in the packet for you. So these are our annual renewals. So this is the annual alcohol license renewals for 2024, the common particular renewals for 2024, entertainment license renewals, entertainment and auto amusement license renewals, and finally Class 1 and Class 2 auto dealers for license renewals. So we can go through, we have basically set up for a vote on each one here, on each lettered item. So we can stop along the way if anybody has any questions, but basically the way we've set up these motions is that that the approval happens tonight, and that if there anything else that we have that's still outstanding, including fees or any municipal charges or any other requirements from police or fire, then that would be need to be reviewed by the town administrator for final approval. But this at least allows us to kick this process into gear, and we have all of the licenses here for your signature this evening.
So I assume that none of these, and nobody had any objections to renewing any of these?
No, we're in good shape. It's taken us some time to get to that point, but we feel good about where we're at. But just in case, we still have that qualifier there.
But no significant violations, that's, I guess that would be.
No, nothing, no, we're in good shape.
All right.
On a separate but related, Diane Dickerson is well on her way in updating the alcohol policy, the licensing policy that we have. It has a lot of the procedures in there, so that will probably be coming at our next meeting as well. It would have been ready if she didn't go on vacation.
The nerve.
Tough time of year.
As a slate?
Yep. Move the select board vote to approve the annual renewal of alcohol licenses as cited within the select board packet for the calendar year 2024. License issuance is contingent upon satisfactory inspections and submission of all required documents, fees, and payment of municipal charges to be reviewed by the town administrator.
Second?
Moved by Mark, seconded by Matthew. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, this is the first set of approval.
Writer's cramp?
Move the select board vote to approve the annual renewal of all common victual license as cited in the packet for the calendar year 2024. License issuance is contingent upon satisfactory inspection and submission of all required documents, fees, and payments of municipal charges to be reviewed by the town administrator.
Second?
Moved by Mark, seconded by Matthew. All those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent.
Move the select board vote to approve the annual renewal of all entertainment licenses as cited in the packet for the calendar year 2024. License issuance is contingent upon satisfactory inspection and submission of all required documents, fees, and payment of municipal charges to be reviewed by the town administrator.
Second?
Moved by Mark, seconded by Matthew. All those in favor?
Aye.
Move the select board vote to approve the annual renewal of all entertainment and automatic amusement licenses as cited in the packet for the calendar year 2024. License issuance is contingent upon satisfactory inspection and submission of all required documents, fees, and payments of municipal charges to be reviewed by the town administrator.
Second?
Moved by Mark, seconded by Matthew. All those in favor?
Aye. Move the select board vote to approve the annual renewal of all Class 1 licenses as cited in the packet for the calendar year 2024. License issuance is contingent upon satisfactory inspections and submission of all required documents, fees, and payments of municipal charges to be reviewed by the town administrator.
Second?
Moved by Mark, seconded by Matthew. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous again.
Move the select board vote to approve the annual renewal of all Class 2 licenses as cited in the packet for the calendar year 2024. License issuance is contingent upon satisfactory inspections and submission of all required documents, fees, and payments of municipal charges to be reviewed by the town administrator.
Second?
Moved by Mark, seconded by Matthew. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I will look to a motion to approve the minutes of December 4th if we don't have any corrections, Mark.
I didn't see anything.
None for me.
Look at
Move the select board vote to approve the meeting minutes of December 4th, 2023.
Second?
Moved by Mark, seconded by Matthew. All those in favor?
Aye.
Before we have a motion to adjourn, do we have to keep the meeting open while we sign this?
I don't believe so. No, you've already voted to execute it, so I think this is, if that'll be the case, we'll be here until midnight, so.
Yeah, I didn't want
Motion
to.
to
It's
adjourn.
very boring, yeah.
Second adjourn.
All right, moved by Matthew, seconded by Karen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful holiday, and we will not see you until after the new year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, folks.
Thank you.